So welcome everybody to episode 13, lucky number 13. So top tip here from us, just a hashtag saying, did you know that airplane tickets are cheaper if you book on the 13th of a month?
I did not know
any
that, but
other
we
day.
will do that from now on all our missional trips. I did not know that.
So we'll do it for a month long. We'll book those tickets. So if you want to fly somewhere, book it on the 13th and preferably
Is that
on
a
Wednesday.
fact now?
That is a fact actually.
That's crazy.
Some of the airlines, I don't know, maybe it's changed since COVID, but before that, because it's just been lucky number 13 the last 2 years, but before that, yeah, that was what it was. If you
That's
book on
crazy.
13th.
I never knew that. I'll book it always on the 13th from now on.
Yeah, but anyway, so we're not here to talk about airplane tickets yet. We'll get there. Gerald, welcome. We're excited about today. We're talking about a guy that is not really a Christian guy. And it's out of Matthew.
But he got to meet Jesus.
He got to meet Jesus, and that's
talk.
the thing. So our podcast is all about for you, if it's your first time tuning in, we talk about people that had encounters with Jesus while he was here on earth and the change that it's brought to their lives and also to the people around them. And this is the man is also, once again, a nameless man, but he's got a title. He is a centurion.
That's right, friend.
And we read about him in Matthew and in Luke. It's got similar stories. The one in Luke, we see that there's elders coming to tell Jesus. Gerald, just give us a recap of.
Yeah. So just regarding the two texts, and then I'll throw it back at you, and you can discuss a little bit about the character. So because I think what you were saying earlier about the man of authority, I think that's a thing to understand. But just regarding the text, very simply, the centurion man, in Matthew, the Bible speaks about he came to the Lord and he's saying to the Lord, listen, Jesus, I've got a servant that is very ill. In fact, one of the translations says, I have a servant that has great value to me, that is very ill. So some people have read it into, well, he only wanted to get the guy better because he had great value. Now, the bottom line is you can go and debate all those kind of things. The next one in Luke, the Bible says that the elders came to Jesus. Yeah. And they say a very interesting thing. They're almost trying to be manipulative. Yeah. So, and then later on in the conversation, he meets Jesus. So, you could say, well, the first conversation of Matthew actually is referring to the second conversation of in Luke. But they turn around and they say to Jesus, listen, this guy built us a synagogue. Now, again, when we throw it back a little later, I've got some thoughts on that as well, because it's incredible. You might be born into a certain tribe. You might be even conditioned a certain way, but that doesn't give you an excuse not to be kind. That's the word that you and I keep on coming back to. But they obviously have a conversation with Jesus, and they say to Jesus, listen, this guy's built us a synagogue. Do us a favor. Do him a favor. And Jesus, even in the first translation in Matthew, says, listen, I'll go with you. I just love that about Jesus. It's not a Christian. This guy's not a Christian. Jesus says, I'll go with you to your house. And then obviously the big story here is the guy turns around and says, Jesus, listen, I'm not worthy of you having you under my roof. And that's where if you'd like, the debate is, here's a man of authority who has the authority to actually walk under many people's roofs. But in a spirit of humility, he's saying to Jesus, listen, I don't even expect you to come because I'm not worthy to have you under my roof. If you'll just speak the word. Now, there's a story in that, and maybe I can wrap up with that a little later, because there's such a powerful story in that this guy had the faith in what Jesus would say. Yeah. But even Jesus' own disciples failed to understand that. And that's why Jesus gives this guy a massive compliment. He says, there is no one with greater faith. And it wasn't so much about the believing, but it was the understanding on how faith is exercised. Yeah. So
this guy needed a favor. I don't think we actually just didn't mention what the favor was.
Yeah.
So he had one of his servants that was ill.
That's right.
And he wanted, and because this guy, it seems like he's a very, very righteous guy. And an interesting thing for me is when you go to Acts 10, you also read about a centurion, Cornelius,
That's right.
Peter encounter, and also inviting Peter to his house, open his house to him. And the Bible says he was a righteous man who had favor with God. And it's just interesting to know that these are Roman centurions. Well, just in our terms, if you've watched the movie Gladiator,
Yeah, there we go.
Russell Crowe, there you go. This is what you would. This is the guy that I picture in my mind as a centurion back in the day.
You're right.
And just walking with this humility, caring about the people that actually works for him.
Yeah. And by nature, you would have thought he would be abusive
Yeah.
with his authority. And I think that's something we can learn as well. Just off the bat right now, from a church perspective, we sometimes meet people who aren't us. They're Romans. We're Jews. Just in the context of that. And we somehow have a perception that they will be this and this and this and this. But the truth is, there are kind people that don't dress the way we dress, or even necessarily believe what we believe.
Yeah.
That's just the fact. And this guy comes to Jesus, I need a favor, and he recognizes Jesus' ability to heal, which is also a unique story over there. He was ready to try Jesus.
Yeah, and just that he's standing in the gap for somebody else, understanding that.
Yes.
And I think Jesus really
That's
honored
powerful,
this
but-
man's revelation that he had, that, he said, and he comes to a part where he says, I understand, Jesus, you're also a man of authority just as I am. When I tell someone to go and send them, they go.
Yes.
So this guy doesn't have an identity problem, but he's not full of it. He's still humble. But like you said, he said to Jesus, I'm not worthy enough of you coming under my roof.
You see, you get it. I love what you're saying right now. Let me throw you back one more thing as well there. He says, I'm not worthy of having you underneath my roof. Suggesting he was also not a poor man.
Yeah, definitely.
He had a roof.
Yeah.
So again, this is not someone that doesn't understand his authority or his identity, or even walking around with a chip on his shoulder. This guy knows who he is, but he's ready to recognize Jesus for who he is.
Yeah.
And Bart Turketti, I think that's maybe a massive lesson, maybe not for you, but for me right now, is that it's good to understand who I am, but I mustn't lose sight of understanding who he is. Because so many times we want to make him suit us,
Yeah.
suit our thinking, suit our religious mindset. And I mean, I've been in conversation with you. I'm trying to break down that religious mindset in my mind. And the secret is we build him, Jesus, to be what we'd like him to be. And this guy's saying, no, listen, I know who I am, but I recognize who you are. I'm not a healer. I'm a Roman soldier, but you're a healer. Come on and work with me.
Yeah. No, definitely. And also, just as you said, this man he's got authority, so he's got status. He's obviously, he needs to be a warrior. So if we look at that would be a role model, I think, for a lot of young guys today, if we look at him. And so he's got influence, he's got power, he's got money, but he still has a need for something bigger than that. And he knows also that there's a spiritual aspect, and what he's got is not just his. And I don't know if you've ever heard this Afrikaans song that says, wat ek het is net genade, and wat ek het is net geleen. So everything that we
what
have,
I've got is just grace, what I've got is just loan.
that's it. And there's a realization from this man that's it. And he's in front of Jesus. This is the God that will provide. And then he says, Lord, I know if you just speak a word, or Jesus said to him, I'll speak a word because of your belief.
Well, so wrapping up the story about that, those words you whisper right now inspire me. What I have is just grace. What I have is just loaned. And this man goes to Jesus. We've now obviously said that he needs a favor, and Jesus is ready to meet him. I mean, just think about this. I'm laughing. If I met Jesus right now and he said to me, Gerald, I'll come to your house. You don't understand. My first thing would be, I'll be on the phone. Listen, Liesel, clean up firstly. Jesus is coming. Then I'd be on the phone with a couple people. Forgive me. Let me be really... let me expose myself to be... not a fraud, but because I'm not a fraud, but let me expose myself. I'd be phoning people that I want to know
That Jesus was
That Jesus is at my house. He was like, hey, how's it? Come on down. Why? Jesus is coming to my house. That would make me feel like seriously important.
And we would have seen some Instagram stories afterwards of you hanging out with
me
Jesus,
hanging
some
with
selfies.
Jesus,
Hey,
okay.
Jesus, yeah, okay. Anyway, but
Oh, forgive me. May the Lord just humble me by himself, not use circumstances. But I just think it's powerful because this man actually interrupts Jesus. He says, Jesus, I know you're busy, or I know you're tired, or I know you're a bunch of things, but if you'll just speak a word. And Jesus is so caught up by this guy's faith. He says it's the greatest faith he's seen. I mean, just think about that. Jesus says, it's the greatest faith I've seen. Maybe with me, he would have said, it's the greatest marketing I've seen. It's disappointing to think about the way this guy acts. We can learn something. And then Jesus says something so powerful to him. He says, I tell you what, go. That which you've said will be. Oh, right. I tell you, that which you've said will be. And I just think we need to be, when we're saying things to Jesus, for me, we need to be coming with a spirit of humility, and then we need to be knowing what we're saying, because Jesus has got the ability to make those words happen.
Yeah.
Even when we feel he's not in our midst. So it's a powerful story, Ben.
Yeah, and I love this. Just
Yes.
seeing a couple of centurions in the Word and how they are humble. Just the last bit for me that stands out is that Jesus actually respects his request. Like, Lord, I'm not worthy. I don't want you to be under my roof. I'm not worthy enough. And Jesus actually respects that, because we will go, no, don't worry about it. Let me still come to your house. If you were on your way to somebody's house, and Jesus actually respected this man's privacy and the request that he had.
You know what? Can I say it this way? Sometimes, and again, let me not lay it at your feet, let me lay it at my feet. Sometimes we don't say it. We don't say that Jesus is our slave, or Jesus is, but we sometimes act that way. You know what I'm saying? Lord, come to my house. Lord, come and do this. Lord, come and do that.
I think he's a genie.
Yeah, we don't say it, but let's just be frank about it.
True.
We've got this slave mentality. You don't talk to God for the whole week, but now you need a miracle, or you need a deal signed, or you need this. Now you're talking to God. It's this real slave mentality. And I think that's what Jesus respects, is that this guy's under no illusion that Jesus owes him nothing. He's just saying if it's possible. And I think there's something about praying that way. Me.
Yeah.
I need to change my prayer to that.
Sure. Wrapping it up, last final words.
If I could encourage anyone out there, the spirit of humility will gain far more traction with Jesus than the arrogance of your faith.
Oh, what an ending. I think that's true. So once again, just thank you for watching. And
Amen.
if you did like this and you felt inspired, please subscribe to our channel. Share it with friends. They can listen to it on Spotify, on radio even.
I love
like
it.
Pulpit, and then on Facebook, YouTube, the normal ones. And share the words. Let's share the message. So from our side, nothing but love.
Nothing but love, friends.
Let it